Hey guys, I'm glad you stopped by. So, tonight I thought we'd cook some dinner because it's that day, and I thought we would do something kind of interesting. What do you do with all that turkey that you had for Thanksgiving? Any of the leftovers or stuff like that? Or in our case, you know, we've essentially cooked two turkeys because me and you, we cooked, we did one with the brining water, with the salt water, and then of course we're gonna make one for Thanksgiving. Now, this probably will come out Thanksgiving Eve, if I am guessing. So it's hard to say when you'll see it because I know you guys will be busy with the holidays, with the holiday, and so will I. But so I thought I'd get a video out of the way early for dinner, so that way there's one there available for you if you want to watch it. After you know, a busy day of cooking for everybody and family, sit down, we can hang out, all that being said. But I thought we would do a turkey chili. Of all the things I've done with turkey, I don't recall ever making a chili, I don't think. But I can't remember. So I thought, why not? This would be a good use of the leftovers. Now, I will tell you that this recipe, first it came from Natasha's Kitchen, was the original recipe creator. And her YouTube channel is amazing. Her recipes are fantastic. I've tried several of them over the years. But I am going to change things up a little bit. Now, her turkey chili starts with a pound of ground raw turkey, and we cook it. I have leftover turkey, so we don't have to cook it. And then there were some stuff with the beans, but I'll go over that when we get to the beans. So that being said, if you are new to my channel, welcome. If this is your first video, if you get something out of this one, you can check out some of the other ones. If you're coming back or a new subscriber, thank you and welcome back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comments, always welcome. I respond to all of them. All I ever ask is you keep them polite. It's okay to disagree, just think before you type. That's all I ask. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, comments. Yeah, I love comments, by the way. I take those tenfold. But that being said, let's go ahead and hop on down here to the stovetop, because we're not going to use a crock pot, we're not going to use an Instant Pot, we're actually going to use the stovetop tonight. And get started on this chili, this quick, easy chili. So, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so, we're down here at the counter. Pretty much the only thing you're going to need for this, and this really is a dump and go meal for the most part, and it's only about a 30-35 minute. You could really make this during the week, or anytime for that matter, even if you don't have leftover chili or leftover turkey. So the only thing we're going to need for this, really, other than something to stir it with, is a stock pot, and you want it to at least be 6 quarts. So Dutch oven or a stock pot, either one. Now, if you are using fresh ground turkey, now is when you want to brine your turkey. You want to go ahead and get it in here, get it cooked, and get it crumbled. Since we are not using fresh ground turkey tonight, I am using leftover turkey, and I've got, you know, about a 50-50 split of dark meat and white meat in here. You want that dark meat for flavor. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in our pot with a tablespoon of heated oil. I've got a tablespoon of vegetable oil in here. We'll go ahead and get our 1 pound of ground turkey, well, in this case, shredded turkey in here. And to this, I've got 1 medium onion that I've got diced up. And I'm going to go ahead and get that in there. And to this, you know, like I said, if you're using fresh turkey, brine your turkey first, then you're going to put the onion in, along with a teaspoon and a half of minced garlic. So, or in my case, pressed garlic, because I don't take the time to mince, I have a press. And then we're also going to add 1 tablespoon of cumin, that is 4 grams, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, that's 2 grams, a half a teaspoon of oregano, which is 1 gram, 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of salt, which is 4 grams, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, which is 1 gram. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cook this until it's until the onions run clear. All right, and that way everything gets to learn how to play with each other and, you know, get to know each other here in the pot. So when I come back, we'll move on to the next steps. Okay, so we've been about 4 or 5 minutes. Our red onions are, our purple onions, depending on who you are starting to go clear. I can smell the spices. Here, we can take a look real quick. I'll show you. Since we're down here, right there we are, and our turkey's looking nice and shredded. That looks really good. I could almost eat that as a sandwich just in and of itself. So now the next thing we need to do is go ahead and start getting everything else in there, because it's literally, we dump half of the ingredients and we're going to dump the other half of the ingredients. So the first thing I've got is a 28 ounce? Yeah, 28 ounce can of diced tomatoes. Go ahead and get those in there. You want to keep the liquid. You want to keep the liquid in almost everything. Almost, well, not really. The next thing after that is 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. But you definitely want to keep the liquid out of the diced tomatoes. And get in there, get the rest of that sauce out. We'll give that a good stir in there real quick. And then here was an option on Natasha's recipe for this, and that was you could use a small can of jalapenos, diced jalapenos, or a small can of green chilies, or not at all if that's what you like. But I'm using a large can of green chilies. A, that's what I have. B, that's what and we like green chilies, so that's not going to be a problem at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 7-ounce can of green chilies in there, and I will leave all the gram weights down in the description below. I have them written down. I just realized I hadn't said any of them. We'll get that in there. And then I've got 3/4 cup of just plain old water I'm going to put in. And even though that actually wasn't called for in the recipe, and I got to get the rest of those green chilies out. I don't want to leave any chili behind. And then the reason why I added the water, and it's because of the next set of ingredients. Beans, and it's going to call for 1 can of kidney beans, 1 can of Great Northern white beans, and then 1 can of black beans. I was reading the back of the kidney beans, because beans in and of themselves are something we don't can. I do chili beans, but I've never actually canned just kidney beans or just Great Northern beans. And on the back of both of those two is a ingredient called disodium EDTA. That is an absolutely horrible chemical. It is banned by every country in the world but us. It is not approved by any organization as far as food goes but us. It is used as a caking agent in makeup. And in this case, even though it's a caking agent, they use it for to promote color retention. Why, I don't know, because it's a caking agent. But it's in the beans. So believe you me, I will start doing my own beans. Now, it wasn't in all of them. The black beans that we bought don't have it. They literally just have, a crisping agent that we use here at the house to do pickles with, water in the beans. That's it. So please read, if you buy canned stuff, read the back of them and stay away from disodium EDTA. Horrible stuff. So that being said, 15-ounce can of kidney beans, 15-ounce can of Great Northern beans. The original recipe, they wanted you to leave the sauce in there. I did not. I do not want that going into my body or the body of my family. So I added water instead to make up the difference of the sauce I rinsed off. Now the black beans, on the other hand, I just drained them. I did not rinse them. Which is what the original recipe called for. So I will have that little bit of black bean flavor in there. But I mean, let's be real. Beans are beans. I mean, they have flavor of their own, but you don't need a liquid to make that flavor up. I wouldn't have added the water, except for that's going to help make up some of the difference in the chili, the volume. So we've got all 3 of our beans in there. And then we have 1 more ingredient to put in. Easy enough ingredient. As soon as I get that stirred up, that looks like crazy good, is 1 15-ounce can of corn. Just whole kernel corn. Or if you happen to have fresh corn, 2 corn cobs of corn. And then that's it. So we'll go ahead and get that in. Now, all we have to do, all that's left, all we need is to bring this up to a boil.
Yes.
And then we're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes with the lid off, and stir it occasionally. And we'll be ready to eat. So when I come back, we'll take a look at it and we'll be ready to eat. All right, I'll see you in a second.
Brain.
All right, so it's cooked. I let it cool. Didn't it look amazing? I pulled it off the stovetop after 20 minutes of simmering, and I just let it sit here and cool, and then meanwhile I got everything back together. So now really all we have left to do is try it. I know it smells amazing, and it's so just full of color. It just, we are definitely 2/3 of the way there, right? It looks good, it smells good. Now I will say it doesn't taste bad either, and I'll tell you why. Right before I took it off the stovetop and the 20 minutes of simmering was up, I did taste it, and that's the point where you want to taste it for salt, pepper, or any other seasonings in this case. And it did need a little more salt, believe it or not. And I based that on the fact that I drained the kidney beans, and there's salt in that sauce and in the beans, but where I drained them and rinsed them off to get that diasodium off of there, I took away the salt. So I added just another quarter teaspoon, quarter to half a teaspoon, it was a healthy pinch at any rate, to it, and that was good. So I'm gonna say, if you make this and you rinse it, or you don't have, if you rinse your beans, or use a low salt bean or whatever, not only use that teaspoon, that 4 grams, but use a good healthy pinch, about another 2 to 3 grams worth of salt. So anyhow, that being said, I mean, there's another look at us right there. I'm here to tell you that looks great. It's hot as the dickens. I mean, I'm sure you could probably see the steam coming off of it. Plus it is burning my hand a little. So now, things to put on top of it. In my case, as always, I've got some sharp cheddar I'm gonna put on there. And then I've got some homemade jalapenos, because we didn't put a whole lot of like heat spice into it. Now you could, I could have taken, instead of the green chilies, and put jalapenos in it. To me, green chilies just add flavor, and a good flavor. So anyhow, that being said, there we are topped. You could also put sour cream on this. I'm sure Chris will. There's 1,001 things you could put on this. Even some, put some crackers in it. What's chili without crackers, really? But I want to give this a try, see where we're at, and yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. That, let me bring it up a little bit so I can see your smiling face while I talk to you. That is quite delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It's got the perfect blend of seasoning, that little extra bit of salt, worked out well. But you can taste all those flavors, and that turkey, where we, brought it back to life again as a leftover, and with the onions and all the seasonings, it really held on to it. And that turkey's got even more flavor than it did than when we cooked it, in the saltwater brine. That, yeah. That's a keeper, hands down. I don't know if I put sour cream on it, but then, that's me. Some people like sour cream, some people don't like mushrooms. Don't like sour cream. And I'm not a sour cream on top of the dish thing. But anyhow, give this one a try. Let me know if you do, or if you have a turkey chili recipe that you use at your house. I could see that going into a rotation here at the house through the winter. Lord knows we have chili recipes for days around here. All of them good. all of them equally good. None of them, but this one has turkey. Definitely keeper. Tomorrow for dessert, I don't know yet. I haven't gotten that far, but I guarantee it'll be something unhealthy and probably not good for you, but it's probably going to taste amazing all the same. And I know it'll come out on Thanksgiving Day, and much like this video, I'm sure that it won't get many views until, you know, a few days later, and I'm okay with that. I get it. I'm not going to be on YouTube a whole lot over the next week. Putting out, you know, watching a whole lot of videos. I'll be doing a whole lot of cooking, a whole lot of baking, and you know, the week this comes out. So that's all right. But anyhow, I will put something out tomorrow, all the same. And until tomorrow, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them and that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make them smile the way it goes and feel really good. You'll probably make their whole day. You know, it's going to make you feel good to tell them that. Probably make you smile too. And if you make them some of this turkey chili, I guarantee they're going to smile. It's going to lead to some good conversation, you know, and there's enough there. You could invite both neighbors over, probably somebody you haven't talked to in 6 months, you know, or just an old friend or some old friends, you know, or some family for that matter. Rekindle some old flames, so to speak. Yeah, well, maybe not those old flames, but, you know, some friendly old flames. But that being said, until tomorrow for dessert, I love you, and I'll see you then. All right? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.